When the 49ers are right defensively, one of their best players are making a play, that's 97-54, and then one of the quote-unquote complimentary players are pitching it. You can see from this very first play that one of the complimentary players happens to be Malik Collins, who's probably trending toward one of their better players on this side of the ball, was going to have a good night. So when your defensive tackle can hold up against a double team like this and still be able to get through and make a stop, good sign for the night. I was impressed by the 49ers defense. I want to talk through a lot of the plays that were made and why. Like, again, it's process, not results, right? You see the 24 on the scoreboard. You see nearly 300 yards, I think maybe 400 yards of total offense. And I see it as like those were a lot of empty calories. So let's get into how the 49ers performed against the Seahawks and what went well for this unit. But first, the 49ers' first third down of the game on defense. So remember in the Debo video, in the offensive video, in the red zone breakdown, I was showing you these crossing routes that the 49ers were running with Debo. Here, it's a lot of the same scheme. This time, the 49ers are in a zone. As we can see, nobody's running with anybody, but at the snap of the ball, you can see the defenders relating to the wide receiver in their area, right? So Warner has the short crosser eventually, but when it cuts off in his zone, you can see he stops and he's going to relocate and probably go to somebody else. The safeties, if you watch them, watch Malik Mustafa here. He actually does a really good job of communicating to Tig. Look, he's coming, crosser. And then he falls off. And then you can see at the top of the screen, Diamond Lenore, he's just man-to-man against the tight end, which is what you're going to do in the backside of any kind of 3-by-1. So here's the 3, here's the 1. But you do not see the weak side linebacker relating to anybody. So right now, like, he's just guarding grass, right? There's no wide receiver in his area. Ideally, he either looks and finds this intermediate crosser, or he's looking back over the middle. And by design, since one-on-one locked in, he's going to take the high cross. Campbell would be responsible for the slow cross here. But since he's looking in the backfield instead of relating to one of his threats, which would make sense that would be this one, he's caught, he's late, and because of that, pitch and catch for the first down. So that's just poor eye discipline from the veteran. For me, is like you see the rookie, Malik Mustafa, communicating and expecting and like just being aware, being cognizant of what's around him. But that's not the case for the veteran here. These are the plays that can't happen, right? These are the plays that the Lions, the Vikings, the Packers are going to turn into touchdowns and not settle for field goals. So that's why I want to point this out. You have an opportunity to get off the field, get off the field. Okay, so after a first down run, this is second down. And remember last week, I was talking about, hey, the linebackers, if there's clear and cloudy, you trigger. So watch this play. Seattle's going to run mid-zone right here. Not the smartest idea to run at that person. So Bosa ends up making the play. As you can see, sets the edge, which he's going to do every time. I don't understand the play call there. But anyway, as for the linebacker play, that's what I want to focus on here. So clear, cloudy. What D. Winters does, who I believe he played a season high in snaps this past game. So you see the mid zone, remember, clear, right? So if I see clear, I'm going to trigger. I'm going to fire into my gap. So he does that. He doesn't wait. And what does he do? By just being aggressive, by coming forward. This lineman is supposed to take Warner, but because he's going to take, hey, he's a bigger threat to where we're running, which is right here. I'm going to come off that. I'm going to go to the other linebacker, and all that does is leave Warner free. So again, like, aggression is everything in defense. You can be wrong, but if you're fast and going forward, especially against the run, you're usually going to be right. So that was nice to see. Okay, get a stop, big play, have another opportunity to get off the field. This time, third down. This time, looks like man coverage, right? So you have Lenore pressed up against DK Metcalf. You have the rookie, Renardo Green. He's not pressed, but he's soft pressed versus Tyler Lockett. And then Jackson Smith-Njigba, who Jerry Brown's kind of like the 49ers' Tayshaun Gibson this year, where they have to have a safety play man coverage. That's just what they need to do for their defense to operate. So he's been holding up pretty well. They're clearing out the side, right? They're basically hoping, just like we showed with Debo, Lockett wins one-on-one in a foot race across the field. Underneath, you have Isaac Yiadom. He's man-to-man against the tight end, so Seattle's hoping that Lockett can win and beat Green. As you can see, that does not happen. But coverage all around, excellent. And honestly, that's the case most of the time. He stepped up, took the challenge against DK Metcalf, pressed right there, locked. The quarterback would have nowhere to go. Lockett is not an easy person to cover. So again, great position right there. And he's able to undercut the route if the ball would be on this side, but it's not. Gino has nowhere to go. Overthrows it, and you can see Malik Mustafa come grab the interception. If I'm the DB coach, Mustafa, hey, brother, keep your momentum. Let's turn upfield right now, and let's go score. Instead, he runs out of bounds. Who knows what happens on the return, right? But let's act as if he has his momentum. Who's going to stop him? He's going to be able to run across the field, probably zigzag. He's blocked. He's going to look up. He's blocked. This player is not going to be able to. Defensive return, these returns always favor the defense. So that would be what I would want to see from Mustafa. Okay, obviously the pass rush matters, right? When you're talking about turnovers. So during the game, Nick Bosa, according to Next Gen Stats, had more pressures than anybody in the last 4 years. He had 14 pressures in the game. That's not true. He tied for the most pressures because Nick Bosa had 14 against the Rams in week 4 of 2022. So he beat up on the right tackle all night. And if he didn't get there, there's Malik Collins again. He did. Great spin move right there. So, yeah, you love to see it. Both your best players winning their one-on-one, forces the quarterback to airmail it. Cornerbacks in great coverage. Safeties coming up over the top. Interception. That is a fantastic team play to get off the field and save points. So I don't know if Seattle had some kind of tip in their previous 5 games, but Lenore, and there's another time where George Odom did it when he was lined up on this side. I think it happened one more time with Lenore where they were lined up over the slot receiver, I believe it was Smith and Jigba, and on the snap, they just go. That is huge right there. They were able to steal effectively 3 negative plays just by jumping the snap. He doesn't fear that it's going to be a play action. Maybe there's no evidence of the Seahawks running play action out of this, but watch. He's looking in the backfield, and as soon as the quarterback turns his back, and you can kind of get a run read, right? So if you want to get technical, whenever linemen fire off low, that's a run block. So if he's reading low hats, or if the quarterback just turns his back, he goes. So that is crazy. He's already diving in here. He has no shot. If he does, it's holding. Runs right into the hole, and that's a tackle for loss. I don't know if that was Sorensen. I don't know if they just found that out on film, but just to be able to steal a couple of plays like that against a division opponent when you're on the road, that is very important, and it helps you get off the field. Okay, so in the red zone video, I showed an anomaly, right? I showed something that generally does not happen, and you can probably count on one hand how many times those happen. Here's the same thing. This time, it's Fred Warner. So Sorensen has the perfect call on. It's 3rd and 2. The 49ers are looking like they're in man coverage. He's on him, he's on him, he's on him. And at the snap, they're going to rotate out into cover 2. You can see Mustafa slowly backing up. You can see Tig walking down. So he's going to have this deep half. He's going to have the deep half. He's going to take underneath. He's going to have this hook short area. And then Warner's going to take whoever number 3 is. This is an interception for him more often than not. More often than it being an incomplete, or a complete, I should say, pass for the offense. So Warner knows where to go. Honestly, this is, for Sorensen again, this is the perfect call. You rotate, you get exactly what you want. Every receiver is going to be accounted for. You have the underneath. He's already taken too long. He's going to go to the corner, so he would have been covered. So if you're Warner, right, and he knows this, you're going to see his reaction after the play. All you need to do is relate to him right away. And it's 3rd and 2, incomplete pass. Go to him right away since there's no other threats in your area. It's incomplete, but that little step, that extra step backward, he knows, oh, man, I was right there, had it. Not something you worry about, right? And then that's why in these situations, oh, the 49ers gave up another third down. What are the odds that that happens again? If we're to simulate this play 10 times, Warner gets a pick on probably 3 of them, breaks up 4 of them, maybe 2 are completed, maybe, and then who knows what had like variance on the other play. So I would not fault Sorensen, Warner, or the 49ers for that. That was just a play that he did not make, which he makes all the time. Something about this team, the way that they defend DK Metcalf. Obviously, we showed one earlier where he broke away, but on this play, like it's just Yidam against Metcalf one-on-one. He's squatting on the route. Like it's almost like as if he knows what's coming. It's almost as if there are no tendencies of the Seahawks running DK Metcalf deep. Look how there's no safety help, and he's just sitting and is able to make a pass breakup. The play before this, Diamador Lenore, he had a pass breakup against DK. So, man, maybe it's just the division, right? You know their tendencies, but it was pretty impressive, I thought. And not just on one play, over the course of like 12 targets, 11 targets, however many times he was targeted. I thought 49ers did a good job against Metcalf. And in football, because it's about athleticism, sometimes it's not so much the X's and the O's, it's more of the Jimmies and the Joes. This is 3rd and 3. Seattle picks this up. Good probability that they put points on the board in some capacity. Field goal, touchdown. Worst case scenario, they pin the 49ers. Will the 49ers go on another 98-yard drive? Like, probably not. So this play is just sheer will, right? Wanting it more. Seattle has a perfect play call, and everybody's blocked. 3rd and 3. Right now, how does he not pick this up? But because I don't know, is it just trying harder? I don't know how you would describe that. It comes down to wanting it more, right? Because that's what happened. Beats his man. Sure, it helps that Walker goes up instead of bouncing it, but I'm not going to bounce it. He's probably not taught to bounce it. 70's leading up the hole as if it's his lead blocker. Yeah, Warner just beats his man to the spot. Saves a big, big possession there. So, Sports Info Solutions tracks, quote-unquote, total points saved. No player in the NFL has saved more points over the course of this season than the player who just made that tackle right there. Like, he has a legitimate shot at Defensive Player of the Year. Here's another run blitz. And again, people think blitz, you think pass, but if you want to blitz on early downs, that's how you get into obvious passing situations. It's another tell where the safety, the hang defender, is walked up over the slot, and as soon as the quarterback turns his back, he makes a play. So, nice to see 51 making a play there. Robert Bill, he played 16 snaps in this game, and with no Gross Matos, they're going to need some 4th edge rusher to step up. But I think it's more about the run blitz because, I mean, there's nowhere for Walker to go. Even if he does have to hold up, even if Bill doesn't make that play, Mustafa's there. But very cool to see him basically just beat it, right? Yeah, beat the block. That's perfection, how he takes on that block. Here's an example of your divisional opponent knowing your tendencies. So I've said this before, and Richard Sherman told me this a while ago. Whenever there's 3 receivers to a side, the 49ers, since like Salah, I believe it was, they're going to designate Fred Warner to guard whoever number 3 is, and he's responsible for him everywhere he goes on the field, up and out, essentially. So the Seahawks know that by now, right? So they're going to take him out of the play. So Geno's looking left to draw the defenders over there in the same way that Purdy looked right to draw the Seahawks defenders to come back to Kittle, knowing that he has the entire field open over here. It's Lenore one-on-one, and it's almost as if Lenore is expecting somebody to be back over the middle. He falls for the head fake, and by then it's just too late. That little peek back kind of tells me he wasn't going to go with him all the way, and then he realized, oh, nobody's there. I do got to go. Too late. Seahawks are able to generate a big play. And this is a 2-minute situation, so they're going to keep driving. So defense is impossible because the way that these new coordinators understand their rules, you can take advantage, you can manipulate a lot. So top of the screen here, the Seahawks are going to have DK Metcalf, who's now in the slot, one-on-one with George Odom. Metcalf's going to act as if he's going to cross the field, give a little stutter, and then go straight up the field. Right here, it looks like Odom has no shot, but he does a good job of recovering, and there's a reason he's able to get there. But It's not much, right? As a defense, I wouldn't blame Sorensen for this because in this coverage, he is responsible for number 2 up and out because he's going up, because he's crossed a certain threshold, which is right here, essentially. It's Odom one-on-one the entire way. Thankfully, there are pass rushers on this team, and that's why Gino's unable to step into it. So Bosa effectively saves another big play. Odom, good recovery, but we can see from the end zone angle here, Bosa on our right here wins to the inside, beats the guard, and Gino has he can't get everything he needs to on that throw. That's why it's underthrown by about 5 or 7 yards. So that was big right there. All right, we got a goal line situation. So Seattle made it inside the 5 after a defensive pass interference, which was ticky-tacky, but you can't put your hands on the receiver. Pocket's going to run a slant. They're going to run a little pick route to try to free him up. It works because, come on, you cannot line up at the same level. Like, he has to be closer, and he has to be one step off. Like, that's just how it has to work. But because they're at the same level, when the offense runs these little crossing routes, you get picked off. Thankfully, quarterback airmails the throw. So, potential coverage bust, but thankfully. So why was the coverage bust saved? Who else? Again, relating to a receiver, just being in the area can go a long way. And I think it throws off Gino here. So Fred Warner, he's just roaming, right? He's lurking to see where the quarterback's looking. Gino gives him every excuse to go over here. He does. He gets in the throwing lane. Gino winds up to throw. Look how close he got to that. So that's why that ball is high. Because if it's not, it's deflected. And he knows who he's dealing with here. So, man, that you cannot quantify what Warner did to that incomplete pass. It's a really high level play. And yeah, he saves a touchdown there, no doubt. And then you get 2 high level plays from the secondary. So here they're going to just go slot fade their first round pick against Diablo Lenore. Jackson Smith and Jigba. It's actually supposed to be a corner route, but ball's a little bit underthrown. Lenore does a great job of playing the hands. Incomplete pass. I think the 49ers, they're getting their hands on a lot of passes this season. I know this was the first game where they actually had interceptions from the secondary, but they're competitive. They're in position to make plays, and I think that's more telling than anything. Again, process over results. And here is another example. So right before the half, Seattle has a chance to cut it to 16-7. They're right on the goal line. They should probably score. They probably should have scored by now. You saw the little adjustment there, so he's a little further back. That way they're not running into each other. And the middle one is the real issue here. So number 2, if he's at least pressing the point, that'll make it a lot easier for these two as well. So problem solved there. Okay, so this year's Tayshaun Gibson, Jair Brown, he's the one guarding number 2. You have Deamlo Lenore on Smith and Jigba, and you have Renardo Green guarding DK Metcalf. Metcalf is going to run up, and then he's just going to run straight to the corner. Gino's going to give him a chance. Goes up and gets it, but Green does a good job of the force out rule. Push him out of the way. That's a great job. Heady play. And the 49ers are able to escape this red zone threat with only field goals. If they can do that consistently, they have a chance to go a long way this season. So the way that these offenses are in the NFC, they are so potent, so dangerous, all good quarterbacks, multiple wide receivers. So limiting teams to 3 will be huge. Really nice play there by Green. Okay, I think this is the last one. So the safety walks up off the edge, and maybe it's just no threat of the quarterback pulling it here, but he just run blitz off the edge, and they still another down, basically, by that. So that's 3 on 3 separate drives where you go from first and whatever he would have gained potentially to now 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11, 2nd and 12. Like, that is a big deal. So just want to show those 3 because, again, I don't know if that's film study. I don't know if that's Seattle tipping something, but whoever picked it up, whoever caught it, whether it's Sorensen or somebody on the defensive staff, hat tip to you because that you guys were able to steal 3 plays in a game where that's pivotal. Okay, so that run blitz allows you to get into 3rd and long. So it's 3rd and 8 now, and the 49ers have another opportunity to get off the field. Seattle's going to motion, and they're actually just going to completely change formation. So they have 3 receivers to the top here, and it's pretty obvious that it's man coverage for the 49ers. Cornerback guarding a wide receiver, linebacker walks out to guard a running back or tight end. I can't tell who that is. And then Isaac Yiadom in the slot against Tyler Lockett. So man coverage across the board. He's pressed up. Safety's coming down to a tight end. It's just going to be a slot fade to the top of the screen. So 22 looks like right now he's in really good coverage, right? He's where he needs to be. Turns and finds the ball, and that's what takes him away from the play, and that's exactly how they're able to get a big reception. Like what I would want him to do, he's already chest to chest. Just stay there and play through his eyes. Make him make a difficult catch, but as soon as he looks back, it's tough. And I think this is also a case where attrition bites the 49ers. You're having to play your special team ace as your deep safety, because remember, like, you need somebody to cover if you want to blitz, if you want to be aggressive. So one of your safeties has to be able to cover. That means one has to play deep and play free safety. By now, Malik Mustafa is injured. He is out. I believe it was an ankle injury. So no Hufanga, no Mustafa. George Odom, you're up. And if we're thinking about free safety, and I just showed on the goal line like how active and how quick Fred Warner was to go where the quarterback was looking. So now he's looking this way. Like, he's giving every intention that he's going to throw this way. Still. Now he's loading up and gunning to throw. Odom's on the other hash still. He has not given himself any chance to get here. Like, what you would like to see is on the snap. Also, think about where my biggest threats are as a free safety. Give DK and Lenore, sure, but he's not going this way. Like, it doesn't seem like he's going this way anyway, so I would like to see Odom, like right now, just start to weave this way. You can stay square and still be looking at the quarterback, but at least get off your spot. Move. And if you have to come back this way, so be it. But you never did. So maybe if by the time Gino's gearing up to throw, he's on this hash, maybe he gets there. But we'll never know because Odom was never able to move off a spot. Again, no shade towards Odom, third string safety. Like, he's not used to playing in this situation against this offense at this point of the game, right? So pass rush is unable to get there too. Can't expect those guys to win every time, even if they are blitzing 5. And that's how you get an explosive play. So the process is right. Yiadom's there. He's where he needs to be. Just looks back at the worst possible time. Free safety doesn't get over the top. So you have a third down conversion. But that's not really sustainable. All right, so another third down, and Green's in a tough spot here. So again, man coverage, right? Linebacker walks out over the running back, cornerback, wide receiver, cornerback, wide receiver, cornerback, tight end. Oh, no, he's a wide receiver. And then obviously you have to walk over somebody, over number 2. So Seattle's going to do what the 49ers do. They're going to isolate DK, and he's going to run a little shake right, acts like he's going to the inside, runs an out route. Tough spot for Renardo Green. There's no doubt about it. It's 3rd and 3. Like, if we want to talk about his game stats, he allowed 4 receptions on 11 targets for, I think, 30-some yards. So spectacular in that sense. Not an easy position to be in. Why I really want to show this is because here's Evan Anderson, undrafted free agent, getting pressure against Laken Tomlinson, but getting pressure in the quick game, right? Getting pressure on a 3-step drop. So Gino's 1, 2, 3, and it's out right now. And there's already somebody in his face. So the 49ers, they don't need everybody to be an all-star every play. But if they can just have one of their role players, in this instance, Evan Anderson, beat his guy, like, that's great news. So I would say this is sustainable. Whenever you get in 3rd and 3, I'm almost expecting the offense to pick it up these days, especially with the quality of offenses that the 49ers are going to see in the NFC, but pretty promising that they're able to get pressure in the quick game. Okay, 3rd down, 3rd and 10, 3rd and long. Have another opportunity to get off the field. So Seattle, they're going to go back to what worked last time. Well, it didn't work as an incomplete pass, but remember the switch release they had? They're going to do that again with DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Jigba to the bottom of the screen. As you can see, there goes DK, and this time he's going to act like he's going, but this time you have an experienced, or not experienced in the sense of how long he's been in the NFL, but somebody who's played the position for a long time, right? Jerry Brown's not falling for that head fake. He knows you're going to come up top. He just saw you do it before, so he has that route capped. Yiadom's to the bottom of the screen. He takes care of Noah Fant. And then as you can see, the pass rush got there. Geno has nowhere to go. Incomplete pass. Punt. Yeah, Bosa was a maniac in this game. He gave this right tackle nightmares. I think 11 of his pressures came against the right tackle. So right here is just little brother in, basically. That's what you need. You need your best player to make plays on third down, and that's exactly what the 49ers were able to get on this play anyway. Pretty telling, though. 53s in the game, and this was after multiple scores, back-to-back scores by Seattle. So Sorensen, hey, he made a change. He wanted to get somebody who could cover, somebody who wasn't allowing those big plays underneath, and he was rewarded. So I think the 49ers have to be ecstatic with what they saw from Renado Green in this game. Here he is off to the left. He's playing the run against a tight end, drawing a hold, which, again, it's not really going to show up in the box score, but that's just competing, right? That's just trying, giving it everything you have. And Green really competed at a high level in this game, which is all you can ask for a cornerback, especially a rookie. And he also competed, but he also showed an understanding of the routes, right? What Seattle was trying to do. Here he is to the top of the screen. They want to suck you up by running this underneath out route. But the idea is if you do that, it's one-on-one with first round receiver running to the corner. 49ers are essentially playing like what's called red 2. So it's cover 2, but the cornerbacks are going to sink. I think Green does a really good job of middling this so he can play both. If you want to throw it here, that's great. Throw it. I'll react on the throw, come up and make the tackle. Instead, he sinks, knowing that he has room, has time. That way he can play lock it on this deep corner route. Gets there. That is such a good play. So yeah, really impressive showing by Green. I would be hard-pressed to take him off the field, but it's a good problem to have. You have the veteran Yidam, who's honestly, he's been okay. He's not been as bad as some fans think he has been. Bad luck in this game with that deep fade, but I think it probably won't be long before Green plays. And even if they feel like he's not ready, I think it's safe to say that based on this performance in his first start on a short week against high-quality wide receivers, the 49ers have a good one in Renado Green. So thanks, everybody, for watching. That's the end of the defensive breakdown. That's really all I want to do is talk through some plays, mostly third downs, right? High-leverage situations, how the 49ers were able to get off the field. Helps to have a handful of good players, helps to have some of the best players at their positions, but I think they're going to go even further, especially once Trey Greenlaw gets healthy. But with the way the secondary is competing, I think will allow the 49ers to go a long way. So thanks again, everybody. Please subscribe if you haven't, like, and comment. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see, but probably going to turn the page to the Chiefs.